lot of temperature. But as Dr. Nab mentioned, this could be causing some big problems for a lot of travelers. This is a hot spot. This is a place that a lot of people go, and they could be seeing some significant effects.
Absolutely. We've seen this storm really get its act together quickly here over the last day or so. So this, even though that picture looks really nice, I think could change very quickly, especially because given the environment this thing is in, it could intensify pretty quickly here over the next couple of days. And as Dr. Nab just said, we could be talking about hurricane conditions coming in to the Yucatan Peninsula. Right now, you can see this general area of spin that has developed in the very far south here of the Western Caribbean. We're expecting impacts to Nicaragua very soon, likely tomorrow morning, and then off to Honduras after that. But Alex, some of these areas could just get walloped by rain, 15 to 20 inches potentially, maybe even 30 in some areas. So
yeah, and you get into these spots where there's terrain, and that could lead to significant flash flooding. Also, mudslides, always a concern.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely mudslides a big threat with this system. And if you look here, these blue colors are showing you where the upper level winds are. They are nowhere near the center of this system. So this storm has the ability to take advantage of that environment that it's in and is likely going to be seeing some intensification here over the next couple of days. Now, if you look at where the models are taking it in the near term, again, we're expecting impacts here in Central America, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Honduras in the next 24 to 36 hours. Then it will be off to the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, likely sometime late Thursday and early Friday. And then after that, it's heading off towards the Gulf of Mexico, as Dr. Nab was just mentioning. But between now and then, there is a lot of heavy rainfall that is going to come for Central America. Again, up to a foot of rain in some areas. We could be even seeing that 2-foot rain total, and we've seen that so many times this year. Just so much of these storms just have that juice, all that moisture associated with it.
And unfortunately, water oftentimes turns out to be, actually, I would say most of the time, it's the deadliest threat of these storms.
I agree. It's definitely not one that you want to mess with.
All right, Dr. Navarro, thank you so much. And we've got Tropical Depression 16 likely to...
Which is the intensity forecast, but they always acknowledge that there's uncertainty in that forecast. And they also look at these rapid intensification index guidance products that tell them, well, what are the chances it increases a couple categories over the next day? And they even look at one where, what are the chances of it going up a lot over the next 3 days? And I wanted to share with you that the latest rapid intensification index that the forecasters are looking at down there, that says over the next 3 days, there's a 2 out of 3 shot of this going up right to the Cat 2, Cat 3 threshold within 3 days. That's not the explicit forecast because, you know, that's just what is possible. So they know that it's certainly possible it could get stronger than the current forecast, and the 5 p.m. intensity forecast is higher than the 11 a.m. intensity forecast was. So we got to talk about the factors.
Yeah, so there's a reason for this. This environment clearly is very conducive for development. So there's a number of things that we can look at and forecast to see, hey, what's the potential that we could see this happening? Yeah,
and so intensity forecasting in the big picture really hinges on 2 major things: the ocean temperatures and the wind shear. It is ultra warm ocean temperatures over the Northwest Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico. There's just no shortage of fuel. Now, there is land interaction. That would be an inhibiting factor, how much time it spends over land of Yucatan and Central America. And there's also very weak wind shear forecast, especially over the Gulf of Mexico. We're expecting an upper level pattern, kind of like this, just a big high-pressure dome over what is expected to be a hurricane. But other factors, Dr. Navarro, are, well, how weak is it initially relative to how much room it has to grow? Initially weak systems have a lot of headroom in an environment like this. So that's why over 3 days between here and here, at 35 miles an hour, could it get to 110? There's plenty of room for it to grow. And also, the internal structure of the system is a big factor. Once it gets in the Northwest Caribbean, if the structure is healthy, then the chances of rapid intensification from here to here go way up.
Yeah, you watch these very carefully, because if that center is able to organize in any way, if it's able to arrange itself to be able to really take advantage of that fuel, we could see things really blast, and which would not be good.
Yeah, so there's the intensity forecast, and then there's possibility for rapid intensification that we can't possibly work out exactly. More coming up on this depression.
Their channel's priority, of course, always to warn viewers of impending danger. But once the storm is over, for many, unfortunately, the disaster is just beginning. And so we're committed to telling those stories as well. A new threat is emerging in Texas as people try to get their homes repaired after Hurricane Harvey. The Weather Channel's Conchetta Callahan shows us why every homeowner needs to be weather underground. All eyes on Tropical Depression 16, likely to become Nate soon here, actually probably shortly, and then could be a landfalling hurricane again in the U.S.
Yeah, so important.
We take a look at it now. Winds at 35 could extend well beyond the cone with this one, especially on the east side.
Yeah, just as in.
All right, we've got a lot of questions coming in from our viewers, so let's
just going to say the biggest thing would be just how much does that storm interact with central
landfall in Texas. I was in Galveston, so makes sense.
All right, let's get into another.
All right, let's get another question in tonight.
All right, we've got another round of your questions coming up next hour. Another hour of Weather Underground coming up in about 60 seconds.